Hey, good day, and thanks again for following. And thank you again for also the new subscribers as well. And please, if you like the energy, please forward like. It helps the algorithm. We all know the drill, right? All right, moving on. Now we have a new listing from the last video when I went over. Hopefully, this is all encapsulated into the mobile video. It has such of a narrow space in there, but I'm working on degrees on certain things. So let's begin with this here from the last one: transit daily, monthly, and yearly, and which is written annual, similar to anniversary, which is related to yearly or sun, solar, and in the mix. And you see the symbols: moon, sun, midpoint, sun, Venus, midpoint. And the exercise started from the prior, and it should be in the following videos that accompany this. If not, I'll review and see if I have to drop any notes in there. So please pardon me. And again, thank you for your patience. And I'm building and moving on this. So I added additional one: Jupiter, Pluto, Chiron, Pluto. Now, this one is a wild card. It's not talked about as much, but it can be very effective depending on the aspects. But what one thing should do now, we have four designated points besides the traditional MC, which is midheaven, and the ascendant, of course, right? Now, I went over for the last ones the rate. They can happen daily, monthly, and yearly. And this can happen through solar arcs, secondary progressions. And the reason why I'm saying secondary progressions is because there are other levels. There are the minor progressions, and there's the tertiary progressions. There are even prime directions that we have. But mainly, we just want to focus on the primary focus and progression. So we this usually used when people are referring to a secondary progression, unless they specify of the prior, minor, tertiary, and so forth. The solar arcs. This is important to use as a timing. Now, you don't have to commit to doing all these three, but I recommend you just for exploratory purposes and the feeling and how you're going through that. So, enough with that. Jupiter, Pluto. This particular midpoint, not only once you find a midpoint, you should also study and see the degree. If there are any planetary planets of your chart or the chart in question is near that, like, for example, the sun, the moon, or the MC, which is the midheaven, or the ascendant. All these are very powerful points that have, or bodies, celestial points to do. The luminaries, of course, sun and moon, are always vital in any of these midpoints or in general, the chart. So, what I'm using again, and maybe I didn't explain, I probably didn't, why I'm having two circles. The inner one is actually will be the midpoints and planets. If you set up, which is going later, we call it the dial. And there's the 90-degree dial, there's the 22.5-degree dial, there's the 45-degree dial, and so forth. Is also, which is currently, which everybody's used to on the since it's the 360 dial, which is the natal chart, which you see, in which everything is laid out in the full 360 degrees, or the zodiacal, from the zodiacal planetary and stations of the planets. Pardon me for that there. So this here is coined as a fortunate midpoint. If you have any of the prior ones that I have mentioned, bodies there, this can indicate a potential of money flow, for one thing, or money investments can be very much of a very positive flow, where some people may not have that connected to the prior parts or celestial bodies, may not be as reap some of the rewards as much as a person that would have that. but you'll find people that'll have these midpoint. Now, when I'm saying midpoints, let me make this also a notation. It don't have to be necessary midpoints. This can be the planetary or longitude of the planet. If you have Jupiter, which we all do, Jupiter and Pluto, and they are in aspects. Now, these aspects are sextiles, conjunctions, squares, and you can also use an opposition, which is the midpoint axis thing. So you can use those just for, for argument's sake, we're going to use those. And you can keep a notation of that. And you can have that, when you're looking back at this video, write that down. Now, when you get your printouts of your midpoints, look for where the sign and the house where this midpoint is at. Now, of course, we can go to other planets if they are in aspect. That's another thing. But this would apply to that too. So we look at this now. A Chiron and Pluto midpoint will increase actually much more of a broader sense of the turning point in life. So pardon me, there's a little outside music going on, so pardon for that. And this can be a turning point when you're looking at this. Or what I haven't mentioned, but I should be mentioning now, this last one for wrapping this up, is that these midpoints are not stationary, just where they're localized in your chart. They have, just like the planet Jupiter and the dwarf planet Pluto, they do a constant current position, what we call transit position, which is meaning their movements during the day-to-day basis, month to month, year to year, etc. So, and they move constantly. So it's not a stagnant point today. It may be at 29 degrees of Aries, hypotheoretically. And tomorrow, because Pluto moves very slow and Jupiter moves not as fast, but you will see these stationary points will last for a period of time in a particular degree in the chart or the zodiac as well. So you can look at those too. So that would be part of the transit family, but there's a moving, or like you would say, a floating point, or I would say, and you look at those two. So once you have these two here, and you're looking at this, once you have that notified, you're looking at your spreadsheet, look at that and see what transits from a daily aspect. And also, meaning daily, we know the diurnal makes this 360 move once a day. So you'll see that. And then make a notice of the times it's happened occurrently. See what happens. So get a little bit more forensic knowledge of it, so to speak, and you can start with that. So please, again, thank you for your patience. And please, thank you. I love it. And you're really giving me a good, warm feeling for the subscriptions and so forth. And likes and any comments, please. Again, that's an open channel. Thank you and have a good day.